Hey gang, just doing a bit of fretwork here. This is a Gibson, it's a 1956 Gibson ES 225, which is a thin line, hollow body, single cutaway, single pickup guitar. It's quite nice. Someone else had refinished it, and I did a little bit of work on this a while back, and it was brought back to me and pointed out that the frets are really, really low. I guess whoever did the refinish job had dressed them, and there was very, very little meat on them, so it was time for new frets. And it was decided to go with the stainless steel on this one. Now, I don't do a lot of fret jobs with stainless steel. Probably, well, less than 10% of the refrets that I do are stainless. I don't have anything against it, but it's definitely hard on the tools. Like, I'll need a new set of end nippers. But as for working with it, it's not bad. I've heard people say that it's impossible to bend it into shape and that kind of thing, but I haven't had a problem with that. It just, everything takes a lot longer. So I'm doing the hot dog ends on this thing. Trying to get them really sort of hemispherical or semi-hemispherical. Had someone call me the other day, and a young guy, and he asked if the question was, do you guys offer internships or that kind of thing? Co-op positions? And I said, no, not really. I'm sorry, I just don't have the room for that, or enough room to make that feasible. And that brought to mind the other question I get asked a lot. People email me this. They'll say, it's kind of strange to me, people you don't know asking this question, but do you have any advice for people who want to get into Luthiery as a business, as a career? Any advice? And I have to bite my tongue all the time, because the best advice is, or the best thing to say is no. No. I don't have any advice for you. No suggestions, really. Because it's not a great idea. And that sounds really kind of callous, kind of cold. But in truth, we'll put it this way. I was watching that Jerry Seinfeld show, Driving in Cars with Comedians and Getting Coffee, I think it's called. And he had Steve Harvey on there. And Steve Harvey, at one point, said he was asked to do a class in stand-up comedy, appear as sort of a guest person in this class. And he said, okay. He got there, and his only advice was really, you know what? If you had to take this class, you're not going to make it. It's just, you know, it's either in you or it's not. And if you don't have the confidence to go out and do it, or if you're the kind of person who would take the class, you're probably not going to make a great stand-up comedian. And I come at it from a slightly different perspective. Because the person who can do this and actually make money at it, eke out a living of some sort, well, you have to have the hand skills, right? You have to be able to do good quality work. You also have to be able to look at your work and say, you know what, this isn't finished, this isn't good enough, I have to redo this. So you have to be kind of discerning about that. You got to be continuously learning, which is something I think is true of any vocation, craft or otherwise. You always have to be, you know, be able to research stuff, know where to find the answers if you don't have them. And in a lot of cases, you have to know what you don't know, which sounds contradictory. You got to be good at budgeting, to know where you're going to spend your money, what kind of stock to have on hand. You know, if you're investing in materials, you have to be able to identify what the market wants. in terms of materials. Otherwise, you're going to spend, $2,000 on wood that just isn't going to sell. So you have to be able to source those materials too, and deal with vendors, and be able to put up with, delays or people who won't be able to fulfill your requirements on time. You got to be good at self-marketing and promotion, because a lot of this is actually getting, if you're going to build guitars, you have to get them in front of the public. If you're going to fix guitars, you have to talk with musicians, gain their trust, gain referrals. So self-promotion is really critical. You have to be able to look at your work, as I said, and not only be sort of self-critical, but you also have to be kind of self-congratulatory at the same time. Because if all you can focus on is the flaws, if you build something, you say, hey, that didn't turn out like I wanted to. I mean, there's a certain kind of person that'll happen to, and they'll stop. It becomes soul-crushing. There's a lot of little sort of self-defeating things that happen along the way. So you have to be able to motivate yourself, because there's no boss. There's no dental plan. And probably most of all, you have to be good at customer relations. You have to be able to talk to people. You have to know not only what they want, but sometimes what they need. You have to be able to say, hey, this is what your guitar should be doing. This is a guitar I don't want to work on. It's not worth it. And you also have to be able to size up people that you don't want to work for, because believe me, they're going to find you. So there's a certain amount of people relation skills that come along with it. And either you have to have that, or you have to learn how to do it. You have to fake it. So the main thing is, the takeaway is, if you have all of those skills in a single package, there are so many other jobs that you could be doing that would make you a lot more money, be a lot more secure, and be far less precarious. So given that it doesn't actually make any economic sense for someone to do this, if they have all those skills, in the end, a person who is really bound and determined to say, I don't care that it's not rational for me to do this, is the one who's going to succeed. I don't know if that's a kind of sort of Zen thing. And I hope it doesn't seem like I'm really negative about the subject. I love seeing people take up craft, do things that they really enjoy for the love of it, simply because they have to. I enjoy watching creative people create. But we shouldn't be under any illusions that it's an easy life. It's a rewarding life, but it's not an easy one. Yesterday I was in the emergency room with my mom, who has double pneumonia. She's not doing very well at all, and they're waiting to a bed to free up so they can put her in the hospital. And, the self-motivation comes in. Today I got to do a fret job. I just have to do it, A lot of me doesn't want to be doing this. A lot of me is worrying about other things right now. But, it would not actually help me or her for me to be there in the hospital with her at this point. And I can't just sort of sit around and do nothing. So I'm here doing fret ends and talking to you. Anyway, hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you again soon.